Call the Gurnee Village Board regular meeting of June 7th, 2021 to order. Roll call, please.
Bahamas.
Present.
Thorstensen.
Here.
Woodside.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
All here.
Everybody stands. And as you can see, we have a great showing from the Scouts, and they've agreed to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. So, you guys, if you want to start.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we'll start off with the consent agenda. And is there a motion for approval?
Second.
Motion by Trustee Balmas, second by Trustee O'Brien. Roll call, please.
Bahamas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
And could we read the consent agenda into the record?
Item number 1, approval of the minutes from the May 17, 2021 meeting. Item number 2, approval and public release of minutes from executive closed session meeting on May 18, 2020. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2021-36, authorizing execution of a new employment contract with the village administrator. Item number 4, approval of ordinance 2021-37, executing a one-year contract with the Mad Bomber Fireworks Productions for fireworks display services 2021 Gurnee Days fireworks. Item number 5, approval of ordinance 2021-38, accepting the final plat of Grand and Brookside Shopping Center re-subdivision. Item number 6, approval of ordinance 2021-39, accepting the final plat of Grand Avenue subdivision. Item number 7, approval of Engineering Division's recommendation to award the 2021 crack sealing program to Patriot Pavement Maintenance at a cost not to exceed $50,000, Lake County Municipal League Cooperative Purchasing Program. Item number 8, approval of setting a bid date of June 28, 2021 for the Old Grand Avenue Floodplain Property Demolition Project, 4609, 4611, 4617, and 4625 Old Grand Avenue. Item number 9, approval of payroll for period ending May 21st, 2021 in the amount of $841,870.61. Item number 10, approval of bills for period ending June 7, 2021 in the amount of $1,606,484.34.
Thank you, and is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Trustee Ross, motion by Trustee Ross, and second by Trustee Thorstensen. Roll call, please.
Bahamas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. So on to petitions and communications. The first one on the list is the approval of a proclamation designating Saturday, June 19th, 2021 as Juneteenth Day. And with reference to Juneteenth Day, this commemorates a day in 1865 where certain black residents in Texas were learned from Major General Robert Granger and the Union soldiers that they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. So this is our opportunity as a village to recognize the contribution that African Americans have given to our village and also to our state. The state of Illinois looks like they're going to recognize this as a holiday and for us to come together and recognize that. And to me, it's recognizing a point in history, that every point in history deserves recognition, and this one certainly does. And even though it was a dark time prior to that, it's still something that we can recognize and learn from. So for us, and especially as I look at you Scouts, that you'll learn in school about a lot of dates in history, and this is a good one to know about. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Be Trustee O'Brien and Trustee Thorstensen a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the second item is the recognition of Eagle Scouts for the rank of Eagle Scout. And I'm going to go down up front, and I'm going to. Oh, there you go. work, right? Evan S. Luntfeet. Is that not even close? All right. Tell me how it's said.
What was that?
Luntfeet?
Lundvite.
Lundvite. All right.
Lundvite.
Congratulations. There's a plaque. Also, if you'd like to hang on to, oops, and get a picture. And you just tell us what your final project was.
My project was at my church in Waukegan. We did, I split it up into 5 areas to do some work around the church because it hasn't been updated in a long time. And that included pouring 12 tons of rocks into the islands, which was a lot of hard labor that the 15 volunteers did. And others included planting 2 trees and mulching the areas.
So I also want to just recognize the parents that invest their time in these young citizens, that it's really a good choice, that we see a lot of good things come out of this, and I know that it's a lot of time and a lot of effort on your part, so we appreciate that. It pays good dividends, or great dividends, as time goes along, so thanks again. Next is the status update on Gurnee Days 2021, so we are having it.
Yeah, quick update. So most of you probably heard, but for those that haven't, been working with the Park District. We will be having Gurnee Days. It'll be a scaled back event this year as we come out of COVID, looking at August 7th and 8th, starting Saturday afternoon, probably around 3 or 4, and then continuing into Sunday. The main attractions, such as the concerts, the fireworks, the parade, Rib Fest, car show, food booth, all of those we're planning on having. The carnival rides and some of the other booths that are out in Viking Park probably are not going to happen to allow more space to spread out, and then also just with the planning of the event, since this is kind of in short order as far as getting everything together. So good news, we'll be having it, working our way back into it slowly, and those main attractions that the community really enjoys will be happening.
Thanks, Pat. Next is reports. So this is a presentation by Kathy Ralston, General Manager, Bitersweet Golf Course, Bitersweet Golf Course update. So,
Yeah,
Kathy?
I'll give a quick intro. So Kathy's our general manager out at Bitersweet, works with Golf Visions. They're our management company out there. They've done a great job since they've been on board with us. I think, Kathy, this is, what, your 3rd season out there? So typically we have Kathy in earlier than this in the year to talk about how the prior year went and plans for the following year. With COVID, we've delayed a little bit, but she provided a very detailed report that was included in your packet as far as the 2020 summary and how 2021 is starting out. So she's here tonight to walk through that report and then answer any questions the village board may have.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight and provide an update on Bitersweet. So Bitersweet opened for play in 1996, which means the course is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. We've been using the tagline that Bitersweet is better than ever as we celebrate 25 years, and really feel like we can stand by that statement because of the improvements we've made over the last 8 months with the village's support, and thanks to the multiple months of record revenues we had in 2020. So to elaborate on 2020, golf industry thrived in 2020. It was an outlier, obviously, but due to the pandemic restrictions, the demand for golf was at levels not seen in many years, and the weather was also incredibly favorable, particularly between the Memorial Day and Labor Day holidays. Year-end financials, we were entirely closed in May. We had a wet May, and we operated at 25 to 30% capacity. We had restrictions on carts throughout the month of June, and we made a difficult decision to keep our indoor dining closed for the entire season. In spite of all that, our 2020 revenues surpassed 2019 by 17%. We also beat our budget numbers for 2020 that were predicated on a full operating season and more typical weather patterns. So financials telling one part of the story. We believe we created an environment where customers felt safe. We kept our staff healthy throughout the season, and we avoided any kind of super spreader event, happily. So some of those record revenues, we were able to invest into facility improvements. Everything started with a new roof funded by the village in October of last year. We moved on from there. We restored 10,000 linear feet of cart path that involved regrading and resurfacing with a fresh 2 to 3 inches of stone. That has direct impact on our future revenues because we will not lose days due to cart path only restrictions and people foregoing Bitersweet because of our previously pothole riddled gravel cart paths. We did buckthorn mitigation on multiple holes. That's good not just for things like wildflowers and ground cover, but it helps with silt erosion and stormwater management. We removed dead Austrian pines throughout the property. We unexpectedly had to rebuild the east wall of our clubhouse. A drywall and painting project that we had envisioned morphed into a complete rebuild of 3/4, the lower 3/4 of the east wall, which is a 3-story wall full of windows. The contractor on the project told us it could have been avoided if the original builder had used $25 in flashing around the windows. Clubhouse aesthetics, this was an exciting component for me. We repainted throughout the entire main floor, had our fireplace, which is a big feature inside the building. We had it whitewashed. We put in new carpeting throughout the main level, replacing the 25-year-old carpeting. We also invested in new dining room chairs to replace the original chairs, which were deteriorating. This spring, fresh bunker sand, edging of all sprinklers and yardage markers, and then we are underway with stump grinding and a few additional tree removals from an outside contractor, Monster again. So the question comes up, was 2020 a one and done for the golf industry? We are not going to have a repeat of 2020, and that's a good thing. But for golf, 2021 to date is giving us the sense that this revitalized interest in golf and higher levels of play than we've seen in years is sustainable. The National Golf Foundation sends us emails with some of their statistics, and they look at things like golf ball sales and internet searches for equipment, and they tell us, yeah, the interest and enthusiasm is still there. April and May were 2 consecutive record revenue and record round months. We had some unseasonably beautiful weather, and we also had some unseasonably cold weather, so I think the weather kind of cancels itself out. We're fielding multiple requests for lessons weekly. The driving range is humming every day, and our summer junior golf programs are filling up rapidly. Some of the beginner level sessions are already sold out. So looking ahead to the rest of 2021, well, one silver lining from 2020 was how it allowed the golf industry to hit the reset button on pricing and step away from a very discount-driven mentality. We believe Bitersweet is a really great value for the experience. Our golfers are providing feedback in kind. So we did raise our membership rates for 2021. I view that as a kind of a correction after holding the line for a while. I don't envision that being a yearly occurrence. We think that this increase will sustain us for 3 to 5 years. As far as daily rates, we've had upward pressure over the last multiple years with minimum wage legislation, and that is increasing our costs, and we felt confident looking at other facilities, comparable quality, that we are still very competitive, even at a slightly higher price point. So we're seeing the impact of the resumption of more normal activities and gatherings as we emerge from the pandemic. We're seeing that impact on our tee sheet. Frequently last year, we would surpass 200 rounds on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This year, we may see that a little less frequently, but we've already seen some of those 200-plus days. We have 12 medium to large outings on our calendar. Many smaller groups of 16 to 24 golfers lined up for the months ahead. Our first 2 club events, the Spring Fling and our 9 and Wine, which is coming up this Saturday, are sold out. We are going to be installing LED lights at the driving range sometime before the end of July. It depends on when our application for the incentives receives its final approval. This is going to allow us to keep the range open until 10 p.m. nightly, and we will communicate a heads up a couple weeks in advance of when we plan to turn on the lights. So the old refrain in the golf industry is that it's all about the weather, and indeed, so much does depend on the weather. Here in Lake County, as I'm sure you all know, we are officially in a severe drought. We're really lucky to have an experienced, conscientious, very knowledgeable superintendent and crew who are keeping ahead of this with multiple strategies, including daily monitoring, ongoing repairs to our irrigation system, hand watering many areas, and using wetting agents, which allow the turf to hold on to moisture better. While it's been great for play to miss those flooding 3 or 4 inch rains we've seen way too frequently in the last few years, we are hoping for some more normal rainfall in the months ahead, and we've actually put in our request for the rain to fall between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Finally, even with all the improvements we've been able to accomplish in the last 8 months, much more does remain to be done, particularly on the golf course, as many of the structural features are nearing the end of their useful life. For example, the retaining walls near our ponds are having some issues. Continuing on to the next phase of tree removals and vegetation management will be vital too. So in my written report, I gave a shout out to our fantastic and friendly on-site staff and the outstanding support we receive from Golf Vision's corporate and senior management in so many aspects of the operation. We take very seriously our role of providing excellent stewardship of the Bitersweet property for the village, and we are all working hard to ensure that the facility remains a valued amenity and a real point of pride for the community and a must-play destination for Chicago area golfers. So that's my update, abbreviated version of the written report. Any questions?
Anybody from the board have any questions? No?
Sure. I would just say Kathy and her team, as she said, Rich, Hannah, Brad, and herself have done a great job out there. They highlighted some items that will need attention in the future. We've known that for a while. We've been prioritizing, working from the clubhouse on down and knocking out some of the low-hanging fruit. Obviously, the irrigation system is a big one on the list that we'll continue to work on with the golf course to make improvements there. But they've done a really nice job, especially over this past year, knocking some of those items off that list. And you can really tell when you go out there. Our kind of informal golf committee of the fire chief, the finance director, and myself are in regular contact with Kathy regularly at the golf course, checking things out. They've done a really nice job. So.
Thanks, Kathy. Really appreciate your effort. So
Thank
thanks
you
for
for the
report.
time tonight.
All right, thanks. No old business, right? So new business, the first item, approval of staff and advisory board appointments as recommended by myself. So I'll just read through those for the record. Village Administrator, Patrick Mutz. Budget Officer, Patrick Mutz. Treasurer, Patrick Mutz. Finance Director, Brian Gosnell. IMRF Agent, Brian Gosnell. Village Engineer, Heather Galan. Public Works Director, Heather Galan. Police Chief, Brian Smith. Fire Chief and ESDA Director, John Kavanaugh. Community Development Director, David Ziegler. Village Attorney, Brian Winter. Deputy Village Clerk, Donna Dallas. Vice Chair, term expiring 4/30/22, Quinn O'Brien. Planning and Zoning Board, Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, Todd Campbell. Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, David Nordentoft. Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, Josh Hezek. Thanks. Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, Tim Garrity. Civil Service Commission, the first one is vacant. Looks like we're hopeful on that one, so hopefully next time we'll have someone for that spot. Commissioner, term expiring 4/30/24 is Ty Bonds. Environmental Sustainability Committee, member, term expiring 4/30/22, Caitlin Salgado. Is Caitlin here? Caitlin, you want to stand up, just be recognized? It's Caitlin. She's from Warren Township High School. You can tell I'm just really proud that the high school is involved in the environmental committee, and Caitlin's been at every one of our Zoom meetings and really appreciate your input, so thank you very much. Thanks. And Police Pension Board, Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, John Mentor. Fire Pension Board, Board Member, term expiring 4/30/23, Mary Jo Colross. PSEBA Hearing Officer, term expiring 4/30/22, Jason Guzinger. Administrative Hearing Officer, term expiring 4/30/22, Yolanda Torres. Is there a motion to approve those appointments? Motion by Greg Garner, second by Jeannie Balmas. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Item number 2, approval of resolution 2021-08, approving the engagement letter with Fuqua Winter LTD.
Sure. So with the reappointment of Attorney Winter, it's appropriate to have an engagement letter on file that outlines his responsibilities and pricing. Pricing is being held flat for the last 3 years. Brian does an excellent job for the village and staff, in constant contact with him, and has always been very pleased with the services he provides. So as I said, this is more of a formality to have on file.
I would just say that for Brian, for me, I've known Brian for many, many, many years. He's a man of integrity, someone that I can rely upon, that the village can rely upon, and I really appreciate his knowledge in the municipal area, but I more appreciate his integrity that he brings to the job. So is there a motion to approve? Yeah, everybody, right? Trustee Ross, motion, and second for Trustee Woodside. Roll call, please.
Balmas.
Aye.
Thorstenson.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Item number 3, approval of ordinance 2021-40,
40.
granting the Third Amendment to a planned unit development for approximately 83 acres located at the southwest corner of Grand Avenue and Hunt Club Road, commonly known as the Grand Hunt Center, subject to the petition of GWV Gurnee LLC. Okay.
Sure. So the next 2 items are related. I'll explain them here in one foul swoop. You had a pretty detailed memo from our associate planner, Claire Gable, on this. So GWV is looking to subdivide the former Uno's Pizzeria site into 2 lots to accommodate a Popeyes and a U.S. Bank. In order to do that, they need the following zoning relief from the village board. Related to the major modification of the Grand Hunt Center, PUD, final PUD. We're looking to increase the amount of developable lots in the Grand Hunt Center from 7 to 8, with no more than 6 being located along Grand Avenue. Looking to amend the sign regulations to be consistent with the Gurnee zoning ordinance for the subject site, and looking to allow a ground sign to be shared between the 2 newly subdivided lots. With relation to the bump in the number of lots, the Grand Hunt PUD is probably the only PUD in town that limits the number of developable lots. While they could develop this under the zoning ordinance, without this amendment, they do want to subdivide the 2 lots to make it easier from a leasing perspective, so that opens up the PUD. So we're looking to bump that up by 1. While the PUD is opened up, as it relates to the sign regulations, the PUD has sign regulations included in it. It's cleaner that we memorialize that the sign standards for these 2 new lots would follow the underlying sign ordinance. So that's the second part of that major modification. And then the third is the ground sign on site. It allows them to share that ground sign until they come forward with individual signs for either business. That's the major modification to the Grand Hunt PUD. The next item on the agenda relates to a special use permit for signage. The Grand Hunt PUD, as I said, has its own sign restrictions within it. If we prove the major modification and follow what is in the zoning ordinance and sign ordinance, Popeyes would be allowed 3 channel letter wall signs with a total of 274 square feet. They're looking for a total of 5 signs, which would be allowed by code, but only totaling 177 square feet. So 2 more signs, but 100 square feet less than what is allowed in the code. PZB felt that was reasonable, the trade-off between the number of signs and the square footage. So on both of these requests, they are forwarding a 6-0 favorable recommendation.
So with reference to the first item, is there a motion? Item number 3.
So move.
Second.
Motion by trustee Garner, second by trustee Thorstensen. Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Item number 4, approval of ordinance 2021,
41.
granting a special use permit pursuant to the Gurnee zoning ordinance for two additional wall signs at 6593 Route 132. Is there a motion as to that item? Motion by trustee O'Brien,
Second.
second by trustee Thorstensen. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, approval of ordinance 2021,
42.
amending Chapter 66, Section 66-37 of the Gurnee Municipal Code by creating additional regulations pertaining to food trucks within the village of Gurnee. Okay.
Sure. So you had a memo from our Community Development Director, David Ziegler, on this. We recently had the Health Department reach out to us regarding mobile food trucks and an issue that's occurring in some surrounding communities in Lake County. They indicated that food trucks are posting online, advertising online, that they would show up in a residential area on a street at a certain date and time, share that on social media, and then there would be issues with people showing up to that neighborhood, wanting to purchase from the food truck, but be creating parking issues, traffic flow issues, and just general complaints from that area. So David has looked at the municipal code and is recommending an amendment at the advice of the Lake County Health Department that basically food trucks would not be allowed in a residentially zoned area except for those sales associated with a permitted block party or sales associated with a Gurnee licensed ice cream vendor. So still would be allowed in other areas in town to advertise, show up, set up shop, but just not in residentially zoned areas unless these two other criteria are met.
Is there a motion with regard to item number 5?
Mayor, I have a question.
Sure. Trustee O'Brien?
Thank you. I didn't understand what it meant by permitted ice cream vendors. So are they able to work in tandem? And then kind of an unintended question would be, does that preclude then lemonade stands?
So the ice cream vendors are individually licensed by our municipal code already. Just due to the fact that it is commercially sold through a mobile truck, we felt that it was made sense to note that as an exception to this regulation. So they can still vend ice cream out of the licensed ice cream trucks like they have always done in the residential areas. This is for commercial vendors. This is not targeted towards the local lemonade stand that, the kids set up at the end of the driveway.
I just thought I should check. And then are the food trucks then going to need to be permitted as well? So not just allowable?
They are permitted by Lake County Health Department. They're the appropriate agency to do that. We made a decision not to try to permit them locally as a duplicative effort, and there really wasn't a need for us to do that.
Thank you.
Trustee Thorstensen?
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I know I've been seeing on social media what has precipitated this by Lake County, and in some cases, they are planning to be on my street, and then they are accepting advanced orders. And so then the whole purpose of whatever reason they were coming, the residents might not even have food because it's run out. So I think it works really well within our existing code to allow it for the neighborhood parties.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Woodside. Roll call, please.
Thomas.
Aye.
Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Public comment. We'll have executive session afterwards, but we'll do public comment first, so that we would, normally what happens is that we come out after executive session and there won't be any business that occurs afterwards, so that gives everybody the opportunity to leave if they'd like. And so this is the opportunity for public comment. Anybody that would like to give a public comment, they need to step to the mic and state their name and address. You need to use the mic that's up there if you can't for some reason.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members, Mayor, Donna, pleasure to finally meet you. My name is Miriam Janet Argueta, and I reside at 7013 Hamilton Drive. I am a valued member of this community wherever I decide to step foot in. And I'm not happy. Okay, on May 18th, I was terrorized in my own home. Insidious attack. I live by myself. I'm a young lady, head of my household, also single mother, secretary of the governing council at the Lake County Health Department. I actually just interviewed today at CBS, anchorwoman. I got turned away at ABC 7. That's okay. CBS doesn't take me, and ABC doesn't either. Then guess what? I own my own corp, and I'm gonna be their competition, because I don't like Univision or Telemundo, and I could, get ahead of the game here. My point here is this insidious attack that terrorized me. I was terrorized. I, really try to get the help from the police, but the results were less than desirable. I tried so many times to reach Chief Smith, who declined on several occasions for an audience with me. I then met with Jesse Gonzalez, who I believe is deputy, second in command. In 2 weeks, I was able to learn their organizational structure, acronyms, 10-4, hold your 20. So I'm well versed now in police enforcement. Furthermore, now I also know sheriffs. I learned their organization as well. My point here is the experience that I've had is, let me choose and measure my words well. I'll be nice and kind, less than desirable. Now, I am intelligent, I have resources, and I'm a very strong woman. But I'm not really worried about myself. I'm worried about other women who aren't as articulate, who don't advocate for themselves, who don't have power like I do. What are their experiences like, Mr. Chief Smith and John? I apologize.
Ma'am, you need to direct it towards us.
I'm sorry. What is their experiences like? Because I have been very resourceful, and I ID'd the suspect, and the police did not arrest him. I also kindly requested several times that Jesse come and collect the evidence, because this insidious neighbor named Paul spits on my driveway. Matter of fact, I had to buy a whole new vehicle because he spat at my co-pilot, which is kind of nice actually, because I like the Audi 2021 Q5 a lot better than the Nissan Juke. So I guess there's always an equal and opposite reaction for every action. Now, I actually like the fact that this insidious man knocked on my door insidiously on May 18th about 6:10 p.m. because it's made me stronger, a lot stronger, by 10th or 100-fold. And now here I am, before you, Mayor. Actually, I was expecting a call. Donna, who Lord put in my path, said she would reach out to you, and I think that was Thursday. So I cleared my agenda, took in the sun, and waited patiently for your call, which never came. So yeah, I'm a little angry Latina woman before you.
I'd be happy to call you. I mean, if you're available tomorrow, make my schedule available to call you as well.
I don't know, I gotta check my agenda, because I own my own
Only
corporation.
appropriate, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Only appropriate if I didn't call you back, so.
Yeah, so I'm not happy at all with the treatment of the police. It's you know what? There should be some PR in place. There should be something for people that, I mean, I'm dealing with the unknown. This is uncharted territories. I don't know what I don't know. They did a terrible job at asking me stuff. They did a terrible job at guiding me through things. They did an even more terrible job at trying to help me. Why is this insidious neighbor still on the loose and not apprehended? He terrorized me. I had to flee to my parents. To be honest, it's cost me 15 grand because I had to shift my focus from my corporation to address this loose cannon.
I'd like to talk to you tomorrow, so if you have the time, let me know.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Are there other people that would like to make public comment? There not being any, then tonight we're going to go into executive session, and Mr. Winter?
Yes, it'd be appropriate to have a motion to go into executive session. This is exemption C2, basically to discuss a collective bargaining matter. We do need a motion and a roll call.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Ross, second by trustee Garner. Roll call, please.
Thomas. Aye. Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross. Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. When we come back out, there won't be any other business, so, I'm sorry. Oh, I need to read that.
No. We will have, there is
Oh,
one
I'm sorry.
item, but it's
Okay.
related to the collective bargaining.
Oh, okay. There is one item, that's true. Thanks.
Thanks.
Open session.
All right, we're back in open session, and with H under item number 1, we take a roll call vote?
Yeah,
All right, we take,
roll call, that we're back in session.
all right, roll call vote, please, Donna?
Thomas. Present. Thorstensen.
Here.
Woodside.
Here.
Ross. Garner.
Here.
O'Brien.
Present.
All
present?
here.
Oh, thanks. Item number 1.
So we have approval ordinance 2021-43, approving a collective bargaining agreement between the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150 Administrative Unit, and the Village of Gurnee for the term beginning May 1st, 2021 through April 30th, 2025. A couple of the highlights. This is a 4-year agreement. The wage proposal, 5/1/21, 4.5%. This is inclusive of the waived COLA from 2020 without retro pay. 5/1/22, 2.75, and the last 2 years of the contract, 2.5%. We had some adjustments to health insurance premiums, added a third tier to the account for single plus one versus full family. There are some language in there that if future increases are subject to a 10% cap, anything greater than 7% would require a wage reopener for that year. And again, 4-year deal through April 30th, 2025. Other changes were just cleanup and non-substantive modifications to the language at the request of the village.
Thanks. Is there a motion with regard to this item?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Woodside, second by trustee Ross. Roll call, please.
Thomas. Aye. Thorstensen.
Yes.
Woodside.
Aye.
Ross.
Aye.
Garner.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by trustee Balmas, second by trustee Garner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye.